comes from the last year. Like many of you, I recognize that the opportunity to hear our speaker from Bangladesh in person is extremely valuable. So prepare to be motivated and inspired. So please give an energetic sorry. His name is Shah Niaz.
Shah Nawaz.
And then Shah Niaz is graduate student in aerospace engineering. So please give an energetic welcome to our speaker for tonight.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for inviting us here to give the presentation on Bangladesh tonight. We're very honored to be here. To start off with, we have just to make some introductions. I'd like to introduce you to some of the Bangladeshi students who live here in the 10th and Home complex. We have Shabir Rahman and Wasek in the camera. In the front, we have the ladies, Farhana Rahman, Aisha Nargis, and Nabila Mariam. And we have Jakir over there, who's manning the slides tonight. So if you see us walking along the grounds, feel free to say hi. This evening, we're doing a presentation on Bangladesh and its cultural aspects, and to give you an overview. So this is the organization of the slides we have prepared for you guys tonight. So we'll quickly go through some introduction, the history, a few words about the people of the country, some notable people, the culture and festivals, and then finally we'll conclude the talk. So where is Bangladesh? So first of all, the first red dot here, this is where we are right now. So yes, so here we go, the animation again. And Bangladesh is like pretty much like right across the globe. So we are bordered by India on 3 sides, and we also have a border with Burma, and we have neighboring countries, Bhutan and Nepal. So Bangladesh is located in the Ganges Delta, so it's a pretty much flat land. So next slide, please. Okay. So a bit of the modern history of Bangladesh. So the modern history is that the Indian subcontinent gained independence from the British in 1947, and in 1947 they, after gaining independence, it split up into 2 countries, India and Pakistan. Then in 1971, Pakistan split again into 2 countries. The western part remained as Pakistan, and the eastern part became what is now currently Bangladesh. Okay, so Bangladesh, as I mentioned, it's on the Ganges Delta, and it's roughly the size is about 50,000 square miles of pretty much plain land. This is roughly about the size of Georgia, and 10% of the land is hilly. There are about 700 rivers in the country, and so we have like, for example, on this slide we have like one picture on the top right, and one picture on the bottom middle, which gives you an idea of the kind of rivers that we have. On the left we have a sunflower field, if you have ever used a sunflower. Okay, and on the right we have a picture of the hilly area. So it gives you a rough idea of the layout of the land. Okay, the climate of Bangladesh. So Bangladesh, although it's roughly, so we have 6 official seasons. For example, this one is the hot season, rainy season, and we have 2 variants of autumn. Then we have the winter, and then we have the spring. And these 6 pictures here represent the various seasons of the country. Okay, so the people. So Bangladesh has a pretty high population, about 150 million people. But ethnically, it's very homogeneous. About 98% of the population are ethnically Bengali. But there are also quite a large number of indigenous tribal groups. The population historically used to be more village oriented, But in the last 20, 30 years, there's like a massive urbanization going on. When latest studies show that the urbanization rate among the population is about 3.5%. And although the population is becoming more and more urban, they do maintain a strong family and economic ties with their with their villages back home. So government and economy. So Bangladesh is a parliamentary democracy. Well, we have a prime minister who is elected, and we have a parliament that is elected. On the right side, we are pictures of our parliament building. And it was designed by Louis Khan, who's a quite famous architect. And economically, we are considered an emerging economy in the last 20, 30 years. We're going from more agrarian-based economy into a more industrialized economy, and it has one of the most consistent growth rates in Asia. Okay, so now I'd like to go on and talk about some of the notable people of the country. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, he's the father. He's considered the father of the nation, and he was the leader of the independence struggle in 1971. He later became the first president and later prime minister of Bangladesh. And I'd like to mention the current prime minister, Sheikh Hasina, is his daughter. Okay. Another notable person, and I'm sure many of you in the room are aware of him, is Muhammad Yunus. He received the Nobel Prize for his invention of microcredit. Now, although he did this in Bangladesh, microcredit is now pretty much has taken a global bent. Like a lot of people all over the world are trying to replicate his idea. And his idea is one of poverty alleviation. Like his idea is that if you give small loans to poor people, they can use these loans to get themselves out of poverty and alleviate the poverty. And if you do it on a individual by individual basis, you can have societal impact. So that's one of his main concepts. Another notable person of our country is Fazlur Rahman Khan. He's an architect and structural engineer. So if any of you have been to Chicago, like he's the architect and structural engineer behind two very famous constructions there. For example, on the left side is the Sears Tower, and on the right picture we have the John Hancock Center, both of which he was the main designer of them. He has been called the Einstein of structural engineering, which I have highlighted here, and also the greatest. Okay. My point is not working. Okay, the greatest structural engineer of the 20th century. So other notable people is people like Rabindranath Tagore. He was the first Nobel laureate from Asia to get the Nobel Prize in Literature. And also he is the author of the national anthems of both India and Bangladesh, which is amazing, right? Because you have the same author for two countries writing the national anthem. Another notable person is Qazi Nazrul Islam. He's the national poet of Bangladesh. He's also known as a rebel poet. Because of his influential role during the struggle against British colonialism, which resulted in the Indian subcontinent becoming independent in 1947. So I'd like to take you through now. I'd like to take you through some pictures of Bangladesh right now. So. Okay, so I'd like to take you through some of the pictures of Bangladesh right now. So we thought we'd start off with some pictures of the villages in Bangladesh. So on the top right and bottom left, you have like pictures of village roads. On the middle, on the right side, the second picture is a picture of like rice fields and other agricultural fields. On the left, we have a vegetable plantation. And right at the bottom right, we have a picture of a village home, which is next to a pond. So we thought like to give you a good view of these pictures. Okay. So Bangladesh has an extensive sea coast. So if you look on the picture on the left, top left, like Cox's Bazar, it is the longest unbroken. Okay. Okay, so Cox's Bazar is the longest unbroken sea beach in the world. So it's about 75 miles and very naturally sandy. So we got some pictures of that for you. On the top right, you have a sunset picture. Bottom right is of the palm trees, coconut trees, and on the left we have a panoramic view of the sea beach. Okay, so Bangladesh also has Bangladesh and India together have the world's largest mangrove forest, and and it's known as the Sundarban. So Sundarban in our language, if you translate to English, it means beautiful jungle. Sundar is beautiful and Ban means jungle. So it's the world's largest mangrove forest, and it's also home for the Royal Bengal tiger, which is the largest and strongest member of the cat family. Okay. So we also have extensive tea gardens on the northeast of the country, and here, which is also very hilly. And so here are some pictures of the tea gardens and the women who actually get the leaves for processing for the tea. Okay, so now we're going to shift gears and go into the society, culture, and the festivals of the country. So Bangladesh historically, the society is more joint family based, because since it's not really an urbanized country but more or village oriented system. So there's the concept of joint families where the children, they live with their parents and everybody lives together. They might have separate complexes, but more or less all of them are living in more or less the same compound. But as as the country gets more and more urbanized and people move to the cities, that structure is slowly eroding. People there are very respectful to their elders and seniors, and and that's one of the trademarks of our country. So celebration. So Bangladesh, although it's ethnically very homogeneous and 98% of the people are Bengalis, but there are multiple religious denominations. We have Muslim people, we have Hindu people who follow the Hindu faith, we have Buddhists among us, and then we also have a substantial number of Christian people. So we collected some of the pictures of these communities. For example, on the top left, we have people of the Buddhist faith. On the bottom left, we have people of the Hindu faith. On the top right, we have people of the Christian faith, and on the bottom right, we have Muslim people, and it's very peaceful atmosphere, very peaceful, and the communal structure is very tight. And celebrations. So we have one celebration called Pohela Boishakh, which is basically the Bengali New Year, and we have some pictures of that for you. And then the next slide, we have the Spring Festival, which is also known as Basant, Basant or Nowruz. The Iranians do Nowruz, and there's also Basant, but our version is called Pohela Falgun. And we have some pictures of that for you over here. Like just some fun activities, get something to eat, things like that. Okay. And so we also so here we have the Bengali script, the language of the Bengali script on the bottom left, on the left side, and we have the transliteration in English for you. So if you want to know how these words sound like, right. And Bengalis. Okay, can you go back? Okay. Bengalis, our language is spoken by about 300 million people worldwide, so it's quite substantial within the top 5, 6 languages in terms of numbers. So we wanted to share this slide with you since this is family housing. This is about Bangladeshi weddings, and our weddings are very intricate affairs that go on for weeks at a time. So like, although we have weddings, we have pre-wedding parties, like many pre-wedding parties and many post-wedding parties. So it keeps on going and going on for weeks. So we wanted to share some pictures of some of the things that happen, like the food, the artwork, and many things that go into this. Okay, so next slide. Okay, some arts and handicrafts. So what we did was we also collected some arts and handicrafts here. So after the presentation is done, feel free to have a look at these handicrafts. These are stuff that all of us had in our homes, and we just brought over here so you can have a look. But in terms of handicrafts, we have a lot of pottery, and we also have like cane-based furniture handicrafts, and also jute. Jute is a kind of fiber, with a very strong fiber. So we have like a lot of handicrafts made of jute and cane and clay pottery. So here are a few pictures, and we also have like hand embroidered handicrafts, and that is right here. A few pictures of that for you here. Okay. Okay. So now we'd like to show you some ancient pictures of ancient constructions, like through the ages. For example, like we have the Lal Bagh Fort, which was constructed by the Mughals, and then on the top right we have Sonargaon, which is one of the oldest cities in the Bengal region. And next slide. And then we have this Katnagar on the top left, Kanta Nagar Temple, which was built in 1752. On the bottom left, we have Mohostan Gor, which is from the 3rd century, dated to the 3rd century. It's also a Hindu temple. Then on the right, top right, we have the Paharpur. On the top right, we have the Paharpur Buddhist monastery. And when the archaeologists dated it, they found there was a 7th century construction. Then on the bottom left, we have this mosque, which was built in the 15th century. It's called the Shad Gambuj Mosque. So foods. So food, of course, this is a very important aspect for us. Rice is the main carbohydrate that we intake, and then, in addition to rice, we also have lots of fishes, meat, and other meats, and beef, meat, lamb, and also we have a variety of homemade cakes. And here's some sample for you. For example, on the bottom right, this is a shrimp vegetable mix. On the left, also some more fishes. On the top, we have some cakes, local cakes. And on this big picture here on the top right, these are all mashed vegetables, different kinds of mashed vegetable items. Sport, right. So we're very big in cricket. So I know a lot of you are like subcontinental people, like in Pakistan, India, we love our cricket. And the country is crazy about it. Our national sport is called Kabaddi, and that picture is on the top right. This is a picture where people go, you have 2 teams and they duke it out. Okay. So national symbols. So we have the water lily, then the Royal Bengal tiger, jackfruit, hilsa fish. These are all our national symbols. And okay, and national albums. So I guess this is about, this is all we have today for you. And right now here is, we found this video on the internet, so we thought you would like to have a look at it. Thank you.